Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Almost Martha. And today it is peach season, and that means it's time to make some peach ice cream. I've already made my peach pound cake twice. If you have not made it yet, you got to go to my website, almost-martha.com, and get the peach pound cake recipe because it is unbelievable. So go bake that pound cake and then put some peach ice cream on top because that's what I'm making today. So peach, peach, peach. Peach season means get on it while it's here. So hang on, and we're going to make some delicious peach ice cream. Okay, so my favorite ice cream is a recipe from Melissa Clark, who is brilliant. And I got this recipe a long time ago from the New York Times. And the title of the recipe is The Only Ice Cream Recipe You Will Ever Need. And it's true. I have made so many different ice creams from this one base recipe. It's incredible. You can throw anything in it and it's going to take it. So today there is a little modification or a couple modifications for peach, but we'll be working on that. And I apologize. The mailman is here. And we all know how dangerous they are. So the warning should stop in just a minute. So we'll begin momentarily. So I made this ice cream last summer for some folks who don't eat sugar. And I thought, okay, well, everything should work fine if I substitute, a good substitute. And whenever I substitute, I always use this sugar-free powdered sweetener. It's a monk fruit sweetener. So if you have somebody in your life that's sensitive to sugar, this is a fantastic substitute. But when I did that, I realized that I could really save a lot of time because the first step in the base recipe is to put the milk and the cream and the sugar on the stove, heat it up just to dissolve the sugar, right? So you can totally skip that step if you are using this powdered sugar substitute or even just, powdered sugar, I guess. So that way you don't have to take the hot milk and ease it into the egg yolks and do all that stuff. You can totally skip that step. So now I have 6 egg yolks. This is my final one here. I've got 5 in here. And you're just separating out the white from the yolk because this is a very rich recipe. Come on, get that little tail. Of course, the last egg is going to be a problem egg. Okay, there we go. Perfect. You can reserve the egg whites. You can make an omelet tomorrow and throw a bunch of egg whites in there, maybe 1 yolk to give it a little color. That would be good. So now I have my 6 egg yolks in here. And I have 2 cups of heavy cream. So that's 1 pint, 2 cups of heavy cream. And I'm just going to add some of this. The normal base recipe also calls for a cup of milk. But because we are doing this peach ice cream, we're going to add another kind of milk a little down the line. So that'll be a big surprise, but it's a milk I like. So now I'm just going to whisk in this powdered sugar a little bit at a time because you don't want it to really lump up too much. I hate that tempering the egg step. And this, I served it. I served this with this sugar substitute ice cream last summer to about 8 people. No one knew until I told them that it wasn't real sugar in this. And sometimes, it's just good to cut back on sugar anyway. I'm going to be serving it with peach pound cake, so hello, a lot of sugar. A lot of sugar any way around it. Okay. All right, that's going in nicely and much easier than tempering the eggs. And I've seen a lot of recipes out there that don't have eggs in the ice cream mixture. I think that's kind of missing that's kind of a mistake. It's just so much richer with that yolk in there. Okay. Great. We have our mixture. To this, I'm gonna add 1/8 of a teaspoon. Oh, I could be the UPS man. I don't know. So I have some fine sea salt here, and it calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon. Who has 1/8 of a teaspoon? All of my little measuring things are just go down to 1/4. So I'm just gonna kind of cut this in half. Okay, that should be good. That should be good. All right, so now I'm gonna put this in a little saucepan. And we're gonna cook this until it becomes a little custardy. Not too custardy, but enough so the mixture will kind of coat the back of a spoon. Oh, life with dogs. Life with dogs. Everything's an emergency. Right, Annie? Yeah, everything's an emergency. Yeah, I know. I hear you. All right, onto the stove. So we're going to make this into a little custard. After it gets to the custard stage, we'll let it cool just a little bit, and then we're going to put it through a fine sieve to make sure there are no lumps or anything in there. So we'll check on this together on the stove. All right, have it on a medium-high heat, and it's supposed to, be ready when it adheres to the back of a spoon. That looks pretty good. Temperature-wise, it's supposed to be around 170. And I think we're there. So now we have the base of the ice cream ready. And I'm just we don't want to turn into custard completely. So I've just turned off the heat. I'm gonna actually move it off that burner. And we're gonna let it cool down just a little bit. And then we're gonna strain it. We're gonna put it into another container. I don't know if that's big enough. It might be. Just strain all the little lumps and anything that might be in there out. But first we'll just let it cool for just a minute. All right, we're gonna take our mixture, and I do feel a little custardiness in here. So I'm gonna take this mixture and I'm gonna put it through a sieve. We want it, we want it nice and smooth. That's why one wears an apron, because you can flick the wrong way, and there it goes. Okay. Now you just kind of work it through the sieve a little bit. Okay, so there is a little bit of stuff that's not going to go through, so that's good. And wipe it off because you want all of this goodness. Okay, and we're going to let this sit. I'll clean up this mess, and then we can start working on the peaches. Oh yeah. Okay, I'll be right with you. I got some things to lick. Peach time. So I am actually not even going to bother to peel these, because she said you don't have to, Miss Melissa Clark. But there are a couple of marks on here that I just want to get rid of. If you see any, blemish or anything that you don't think looks good, just take it right off that peach. Sometimes you can get lucky and just it'll peel right off. Okay, just make sure everything going in is nice and beautiful. Take some of this off. Okay, all right. So now all we have to do is chop these up. We got to take the pits out. So just open up the peach, pull the pit out, and then we're gonna chop this baby up and put it in a skillet because we're gonna cook these peaches a little bit, and that helps with the peaches not to be icy in your ice cream. And I think it'll be so good. I have done that, like when I was a neophyte in ice cream making. I just took some fresh peaches and I diced them up and I put them in the ice cream, and they were super icy, super icy. It was like biting into a piece of ice. So that didn't turn out as well as I'd hoped. Cooking the peaches actually helps with that. So just make sure we don't get any stems or anything like that. Any bad blemishes you can just take off. So I'm going to work on this, and then I'll check back in with you when I get my peaches sauteing on the stove. So 3 pounds of peaches, it's a lot of peaches. So I've got my peaches in a nice saucepan to which I'm adding a 1/2 cup sugar. Because we didn't, we cut back on so much sugar in the base recipe. I'm good with a 1/2 cup of sugar in this because I think we're going to make more ice cream than normal. So we're going to add some heat. The sugar is going to help sort of macerate the peaches a little bit. And once these cook down, and we're going to cook them together for about 10 minutes, then we're going to puree them in a blender and then add it to that base ice cream mixture. So, okay, step 1, cook the peaches. We want to cook the peaches until they're nice and soft. So you can just kind of, take a piece, see how soft it is. If it's not too soft, just give it a few more minutes. So it's about 10 minutes, but really what you're trying to do is get those peaches nice and soft. My peaches are nice and soft, so I'm going to start ladling them into my blender because we are going to puree these. Okay, I can do the rest without too much problem. I'm not going to dump all the liquid in here, so I'm just kind of putting the peaches. So there's a couple tablespoons of sugar water that I didn't put in there. Now, the one thing we're going to add is a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Yes, buttermilk. So you'll see a lot of peach ice cream recipes have lemon in it, and you're adding it for that little tangy taste, a little bit of acidity. Well, that's what the buttermilk's going to do. But it's going to give it a really nice, rich flavor. So here we go. Okay. Fantastic, fantastic. All right, I'm going to put this away. And now we need to combine everything. So we have the puree and we have the ice cream custard. So in we go. And then our ice cream base. We're just going to whisk this all together. Okay. Now, this entire mixture has to really cool down. It needs to be very cold before we put it into the ice cream maker. So I have a unit that actually refrigerates it. So there's an actual electric refrigerator in my ice cream maker, and boy, does that make it easy. If you have one of the makers where the bowl has to get frozen, make sure that bowl is good and frozen for at least 24 hours before you start to make this ice cream. But now I am going to chill this down. I'm going to do it for about 4 hours. If I pull it out in 4 hours and it's not quite there, then I'm going to stick it in the freezer, and then we're going to start to, have the churning process begin. So, all right, there we go. But before we go, oh, one more thing. This is optional. This is if you like a little almond extract. It really does make the peaches be a little more peachy, but just add a couple drops. Really, it does not take much, but it just sort of enhances that peach flavor a little bit. So I know it's funny, it's almond extract, but it really does work with peaches really, really well. But that's up to you. Gives it a beautiful smell. All right. All right, refrigerate we go. But before we do, I'm just going to give it a quick little taste test here. Oh. All right then. Whew, this is going to be good. I'm not going to cover it right now. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator without any covering on it. As it gets a little colder, I'll put a cover on it. But right now, if I do that, too much water and condensation will happen. So into the refrigerator, exactly like this, and away we go. Okay, everybody. So here is my lovely custard. And I don't think there's any way that I can get all of this in one round. So I'm just going to fill my little canister. And we're going to freeze it. We'll freeze it in batches. That's okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. It's pretty cold. I had it in the freezer for about half an hour just to make sure it got very cold. So that's about half of it. So that's fine. Boy, it's very, very peachy looking. And it's really good. And it's really good. So in we go. So I haven't done this since last summer. So here we go. I think. Oh yeah, so this goes in here. This is the arm that's going to turn. And I just have to kind of goose it in here a little bit. And then this is a very old machine. So here we go. I guess we'll know in just a minute. It's supposed to. I got it put together. So remember, when things go wrong, don't give up. And if you have to, call on your husband because he can help you. Right, Mom? I call you, but you're not here. So, okay. Now we just wait until this is completely frozen, and this little mechanism will stop turning. Then we'll put it in a different container and put it in the freezer for an hour or two. So here we go. Okay, everybody, we have ice cream. So I turned the machine off. I'm gonna have to get ready because I'm gonna have to do this again. We have more custard to make, but we see. Oh yeah, it's really frozen in there. Okay, hold on. Don't break little ice cream. Okay, there we go. But it's very frozen. So I'm gonna try to scoop this out. Okay, I was a little worried about all those peaches, but yeah, it froze beautifully. Now we're gonna put it in the freezer, and we're gonna let this get a little harder. You know, I have a Sub-Zero upstairs. I'm not gonna put it in the Sub-Zero because the last time I did, it really froze the ice cream too hard. So I'm gonna put it in a freezer downstairs and just let it get a little harder. Okay. Oh man, look at this color. The color's like amazing. Totally peachy. No artificial colorings, no artificial anything, just good stuff. Okay. All right, I'm gonna pull this out. I think I can get it now. Oh yeah, man. Beautiful, creamy. Okay, here we go. Mm. Oh yeah. Mm. Wow. Oh, that is peachy. Mm. Mm. It's okay. Dogs will get it off the floor. Mm. 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 That is some good peach ice cream. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So, whatever kind of ice cream maker that you have, you just can't use that old-fashioned churn kind. You really have to use one of the more, modern ice cream makers. If you freeze the bowl for a long time, make sure it's, really nice and cold. Okay, that's it. And I love this little container because you can actually take an ice cream scoop and just sort of scoop all down it. So this is it. Plenty and plenty of peach ice cream. Oh, mm, mm. Oh, so good. So if you want the complete recipe, then just go to almost-martha.com and you'll get it there. It's a great base ice cream recipe that you'll be able to use for many different kinds of ice cream. I'll put a link to the original recipe in there as well. So into the freezer it goes, and boy, is that some beautiful ice cream. Happy summer, everybody. Enjoy, enjoy. And if you haven't made that peach pound cake, I'm telling you, you got to make it. Go get that recipe right on my website, almost-martha.com. We're going to have it tonight with a little peach ice cream. So, all right. See you next time. Bye, Mom. Enjoy the summer.